6 months had passed since the Battle of Sol ended with the complete surrender of the alien coalition. The galaxy was still trying to understand what had happened. In a single day, humanity had gone from being a minor species on the galactic fringe to the dominant military power in known space. Ambassador Mi Young. Shin walked through the halls of what had once been the Galactic Hegemony's Capitol building. Now it served as the temporary headquarters for the reformed Galactic Council, and its new location was not on some ancient alien homeworld, but on Earth itself. The symbolism was intentional and clear. The galaxy's future would be decided by humans, not by the species that had tried to destroy them. "The delegates are ready for you," her aide informed her. "All 47 species have representatives present." Mi Young nodded. Some of those species had fought against humanity. Others had remained neutral. A few had even tried to help. Today, they would all learn what the new galaxy was going to look like. In the main council chamber, President Jun-Ho Kim stood before representatives from across the galaxy. Many of them looked nervous. They had heard stories about what human weapons could do. They had seen footage of the solar defense grid vaporizing entire fleets. They didn't know if they were attending a peace negotiation or their own execution. "Honored delegates," President Kim began. "6 months ago, your former leadership delivered an ultimatum to humanity. Today, I deliver an ultimatum to you." The room fell silent. Several alien delegates gripped their chairs, expecting to hear demands for tribute or threats of destruction. "Here are humanity's terms," President Kim continued. "First, the old hegemony is dissolved. No single species or alliance will ever again claim authority over other worlds without their consent. Second, all species will have equal representation in the new galactic government regardless of their size or military power. Third, any species that attacks civilian populations or commits genocide will face the combined response of all others." The delegates looked confused. These didn't sound like the demands of conquerors. "Fourth," President Kim continued, "humanity will share our defensive technology with any world that requests it, free of charge. Fifth, all trade routes will be open to all species on equal terms. Sixth, disputes between worlds will be settled by arbitration, not warfare." Former Supreme Chancellor Vorthak, now wearing the simple clothes of a prisoner awaiting trial, sat in the observers section and listened with amazement. "They're not demanding tribute," he whispered to his guard. "They're offering protection." The guard, a human marine named Corporal So-Jin Park, nodded. "That's what we've been trying to tell you. We didn't want to rule the galaxy. We just wanted to be left alone to live in peace." "But you could rule it," Vorthak said. "Your weapons, your ships, your technology. No one could stop you." "That's exactly why we won't do it," Corporal Park replied. "We know what power like that can do to people. We've seen it in our own history." The peace negotiations continued for weeks, but the outcome was never in doubt. Humanity held all the military power, but they used it to guarantee freedom rather than to enforce obedience. Species that had expected to become slaves found themselves becoming partners instead. Dr. Yoon-Ji Lee, now serving as humanity's chief xenological advisor, worked with delegates to establish the new galactic constitution. "The goal is simple," she explained to a group of former hegemony officials. "Every species gets to choose their own government, their own laws, their own future. The only rule is that you can't choose to hurt others. And if someone breaks this rule," asked a delegate from the Sorok Empire. Captain Seol-Anam, who commanded humanity's new exploration fleet, answered from her position at the conference table. "Then they'll face the same thing the hegemony faced. Overwhelming force applied precisely and without mercy until the threat is eliminated." The threat was not empty. Humanity had used the months after the war to reveal more of their capabilities. Exploration ships that could cross the galaxy in weeks, manufacturing systems that could build fleets faster than most species could count them, weapons that could sterilize entire star systems if necessary. But they had also revealed something else, a genuine desire to help other species prosper. Human engineers were already working with dozens of worlds to improve their technology. Human doctors were sharing medical advances that could extend alien lifespans by centuries. Human teachers were establishing schools where species could learn from each other. Admiral Tae-min Park, now commanding the renamed Terran Guardian, received daily reports from across the galaxy. "Sir, the Centauri Republic is requesting assistance with their terraforming project. The Vegan Alliance wants help defending against the pirate fleets in Sector 7. The Crystal Worlds are asking for medical support for their plague outbreak. Approved. Approved and approved, Admiral Park replied. Dispatch the appropriate assistance to each location. His aide looked puzzled. Sir, we're helping everyone who asks, even species that fought against us. Isn't this expensive? Admiral Park smiled. Lieutenant, do you know what's more expensive than helping our neighbors? Having to fight them. Every world we help becomes a world that doesn't want to fight us. Every species we save becomes a species that will stand with us if someone else tries to threaten the peace. This was humanity's grand strategy, and it was working better than anyone had expected. Instead of ruling through fear, they were leading through example. Instead of demanding tribute, they were offering aid. Instead of punishing their former enemies, they were turning them into allies. The transformation was remarkable. Species that had spent centuries fighting each other were now cooperating on joint projects. Worlds that had been oppressed by the hegemony were flourishing under the new system. Trade was increasing, technology was advancing, and for the first time in galactic history, there was hope for lasting peace. But everyone understood that this peace existed because humanity was strong enough to enforce it. The solar defense grid still surrounded Earth, ready to destroy any threat. Human fleets still patrolled the major trade routes, keeping them safe from pirates and aggressors. Human intelligence networks still monitored every corner of the galaxy, watching for signs of trouble. Captain Minho Ryu, now commanding the Dreadnought Indomitable on a peaceful exploration mission, summed up the situation in his log. We've learned that the best way to win a war is to convince everyone else that fighting us is pointless. Not because we'll destroy them, but because we'll help them build something better than what they could win through violence. 100 years later, the galaxy was unrecognizable. Species that had been enemies were now allies. Worlds that had been wastelands were now gardens. Technology that had been primitive was now advanced beyond the dreams of the old hegemony. And at the center of it all was Earth, no longer hiding its strength but using it to protect rather than to threaten. In schools across the galaxy, alien children learned the same lesson that had ended the war and begun the peace. Never mistake human kindness for human weakness. They are the most dangerous species in the galaxy, precisely because they choose not to use their full power. Fear the day they change their minds. But that day never came. Humanity had learned that true strength came not from the ability to destroy, but from the wisdom to know when destruction was necessary and when it was not. They had become the galaxy's guardians not because they sought power, but because power had sought them, and they had chosen to use it well. The war that was supposed to end human expansion had instead begun the human age, and the galaxy was better for it. Admiral Taman Park stood on the bridge of the orbital defense station, watching the screens that showed empty space. But he knew they were not alone. The alien ships were out there waiting beyond Pluto, too far to see but close enough to threaten everything he loved. The communication officer turned to him with worry in her eyes. Sir, we're getting a transmission from the alien fleet. They want to speak with Earth's leaders, Taman nodded. Put it through to Sol. President Choi needs to hear this. In the United Earth Command headquarters in Seoul, President Soo-bin Choi sat at a long table with her closest advisors. Defense Secretary Woo Jin-nam was checking reports from their scouts. Intelligence Officer Dong-woo Lee was trying to count how many alien ships were really out there. The number kept growing. The main screen flickered to life, showing a creature that looked like a giant lizard wearing golden armor. Its eyes were cold and yellow, and when it spoke, its voice made everyone in the room feel small. I am Supreme Chancellor Vorthak of the Galactic Hegemony, the alien said. I speak for 12 species and over 1,000 worlds. We have come to deliver an ultimatum to the humans of Earth. President Choi leaned forward. We're listening. The alien's mouth opened, showing sharp teeth. Your species has become dangerous. In just 200 years, you have spread to 47 star systems. You build weapons too quickly. You fight wars too well. You do not respect the old ways that keep the galaxy peaceful. Communication specialist Yoon Soo-jung watched the alien's face carefully. Something was wrong. The creature was trying to sound strong, but she could see fear in its eyes. Therefore, Vorthak continued, the Galactic Hegemony demands that humanity surrender immediately. You will give us all your military ships. Your soldiers will put down their weapons. Your government will be dissolved. We will move your people to safe worlds where you cannot threaten others. The room fell silent. Defense Secretary Nam was the first to speak. And if we refuse? Then we will take what we demand by force. We have 2,000 ships in your solar system, and more at every human colony. You have 47 ships total. The choice should be easy. President Choi looked around the table at her advisors. She could see anger in their faces, but also fear. The numbers were not good. Captain Hyojin Kim was watching this conversation from her command post on the defense station Aegis Prime. She had been a soldier for 20 years, and she knew when someone was trying to scare her. But she also knew when the enemy was right about the numbers. 2,000 ships, she said to her second-in-command. We have 3 defense stations and maybe 20 patrol ships in the solar system. This is not going to be a fair fight. Her officer nodded grimly. Should we start evacuation procedures? Not yet. Let's see what the president says. Back in Seoul, President Choi was asking questions. Why now? Humans have been peaceful with other species. We trade fairly. We help planets that ask for help. Why do you see us as a threat? Vorthak's eyes grew colder. Because you do not know your place. Small species should stay small. You grow too fast and learn too much. This disturbs the natural order. Intelligence Officer Lee frowned at his data pad. Sir, I'm reading the energy signatures from their fleet. Something's not right. What do you mean? President Choi asked. Their ships are powerful, yes, but they're not scanning us very carefully. It's like they think they already know everything about our defenses. Communications Specialist Jung raised her hand. President, may I say something? Go ahead. I've been studying the alien's speech patterns. He's trying to intimidate us, but there are signs of nervousness. The way he keeps mentioning how dangerous we are, I think he's more afraid of us than he wants to admit. Defense Secretary Nam looked at the numbers again. Even if that's true, we can't fight 2,000 ships with what we have. President Choi was quiet for a long moment. She thought about her children, about all the children on Earth and the colonies. She thought about humanity's long journey from a single world to the stars. She thought about all the species that had tried to stop human progress before. Mr. Vorthak, she said finally. Supreme Chancellor Vorthak, the alien. Corrected, Mr. Vorthak, she repeated, making it clear she did not respect his title. How long do we have to consider your generous offer? The alien showed more teeth. 72 hours. After that, we begin taking what we demanded peacefully. I see. And you expect us to just give up everything we've built? Our homes, our freedom, our future? You will live. That is more than most species get when they defy us. President Choi stood up. Around the table, her advisors did the same. Then let me give you our answer now so you don't have to wait. The alien leaned forward, expecting surrender. Go to hell. The transmission cut out. For a moment, nobody in the room moved. Then Defense Secretary Nam started laughing. Well, that's clear enough. Contact all the colonies, President Choi ordered. Emergency protocol. Tell them what just happened. Tell them what we decided. If any colony wants to surrender on their own, that's their choice. But Earth will not bow to threats. Ma'am, Intelligence Officer Lee said. What about our actual defenses? We really do only have 47 ships. President Choi smiled, but it was not a happy smile. Do we, Mr. Lee? Are you sure about that number? Before he could answer, she was already walking toward the secure communication room. Get me Admiral Shin on the quantum line. It's time for Protocol Prometheus. On the defense station, Captain Kim felt her communication system activate with codes she had never seen before. Her computer screen showed new orders that made her heart race. All stations, she announced to her crew, prepare for revelation protocols, unlock hidden systems, remove camouflage fields, power up weapons that officially do not exist. Her weapons officer looked confused. Captain, what weapons? We only have standard defensive arrays. Captain Kim typed in the codes she had just received. Around them, the station began to change. Walls slid away to reveal massive gun barrels. Sensor arrays that had been disguised as communication dishes swiveled toward the enemy fleet. Not anymore, she said. Across human space, similar transformations were beginning. Mining stations were becoming battleships. Research outposts were revealing hidden weapons. Civilian ships were dropping disguises that had fooled alien spies for decades. The aliens had made one crucial mistake. They thought they knew how strong humanity really was. They were about to learn the difference between what humans showed the galaxy and what humans could actually do when threatened. In 72 hours, the war would begin. But it would not be the war anyone expected. Supreme Chancellor Vorthak had decided to end the war with one massive strike. Every available ship from 12 species over 3,000 vessels would converge on Earth itself. Surely no defense could withstand such overwhelming force. The humans would see their homeworld threatened and finally surrender. He could not have been more wrong. Fleet Admiral Jinwoo Lee stood in the command center buried deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, watching as the alien armada entered the outer solar system. The chamber around him was carved from solid rock and shielded against every form of detection. Even if the aliens conquered Earth's surface, they would never find this place. "Sir, alien fleet is passing Neptune's orbit," reported his tactical officer. "Total count is 3,147 vessels. They're maintaining standard formation. And our visible defenses? 200 ships, sir. The aliens can see them clearly." Admiral Lee smiled. "Good. We want them to feel confident." The alien fleet commander was Admiral Korthvan of the Christek hegemony, chosen for this final battle because of his reputation for thorough destruction. He studied the readings his sensors gave him and felt satisfied. The humans had managed to gather 200 ships to defend their homeworld. It was impressive for such a young species, but not nearly enough. "Begin the final approach," he ordered. "Target the human defensive fleet first. Once their ships are destroyed, we'll begin orbital bombardment of their cities." Captain So-Young Kim was aboard the human command ship Eternal Guardian, one of the visible defenders that the aliens were counting. Her crew was calm, almost relaxed as the massive alien fleet approached. They knew something the aliens didn't. "Sir," her communications officer reported, "receiving activation codes for Helios Protocol." Captain Kim nodded to her crew. "Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to show our guests what we've really been building for the past 2 centuries. She opened a channel to all human ships in the system. "This is Captain Kim. Execute Helios Protocol. Full activation. Show them what a star system looks like when it's designed as a weapon." What happened next changed the galaxy forever. The sun began to respond to human commands. Chief Scientist Changmin Park had spent his entire career working on Project Helios, hidden beneath layers of classified research that made it appear to be simple solar observation. The truth was far more impressive. Humanity had turned their entire star system into the largest weapon ever created. "Dyson collectors at full power," he reported from the Solar Command Center. "Stellar energy capture at maximum efficiency." What the aliens had thought were solar research satellites were actually massive energy collectors, hidden in plain sight for decades. They began channeling the sun's power into weapon systems that could vaporize entire fleets. Admiral Korthvan watched in growing horror as streams of pure stellar energy lanced out from hidden installations throughout the solar system. The first blast destroyed 50 of his ships instantly. The second destroyed 100 more. "Where is this power coming from?" he demanded. His science officer was frantically scanning the system. "Sir, the humans have They've built weapons that use their star as a power source. This shouldn't be possible." But the stellar energy weapons were only the beginning. As the alien fleet tried to retreat to a safe distance, they discovered that space itself around Earth was not what it seemed. Admiral Yan Woo-jung commanded the gravity manipulation systems that had been disguised as asteroid mining operations. "Initiating spatial distortion," she announced. "Trap the alien fleet. Don't let them escape." Hidden throughout the asteroid belt, massive gravity generators created artificial singularities that warped spacetime itself. The alien ships found themselves caught in gravity wells that pulled them toward weapons platforms they couldn't see. Captain Tae-ho Kim commanded one of these hidden platforms, a fortress built inside a hollowed-out asteroid. "Target locked on enemy flagship. Gravitational lance ready." The gravitational lance fired a beam of twisted spacetime that crushed the alien flagship like an empty can. The technology was so advanced that most species in the galaxy would need centuries just to understand how it worked. Admiral Korthvan managed to transfer his command to another ship before his flagship was destroyed. But he was beginning to understand the true scope of human preparation. This wasn't a defensive battle. This was a trap that had been centuries in the making. "How long have they been planning this?" he whispered. The answer came from Dr. Yoonji Lee, who was coordinating the revelation from the Lunar Command Center. Her broadcast reached every alien ship in the system and through them, the entire galaxy. "Attention, alien forces. You asked how long we've been planning this. The answer is, since the day we first learned we were not alone in the universe. Every generation of humans has contributed to what you see today. Every discovery, every innovation, every advance has been part of preparing for this moment. The truth was staggering. Humanity had spent 200 years turning their entire solar system into a fortress. Every planet had hidden weapons. Every moon had secret bases. Every asteroid had been evaluated for its military potential. Mars, which the aliens thought was a simple research colony, revealed massive underground cities connected by tunnel networks that could house the entire human population if necessary. The red planet's surface opened like flower petals, showing weapons installations that could defend against any orbital attack. Venus, dismissed as too hostile for human habitation, turned out to be surrounded by floating battle stations hidden in the thick atmosphere. The extreme conditions that made the planet uninhabitable for most life forms were perfect for cooling the massive energy weapons humanity had built there. Even the outer planets contributed to Earth's defense. Jupiter's moons were revealed to be manufacturing centers that had been producing warships for decades. Saturn's rings contained millions of automated defense platforms, each one small enough to escape detection, but powerful enough to destroy a battleship. Commander Jamin Park commanded the Pluto defense grid, the outermost ring of Earth's protection. Sir, alien reinforcement fleet approaching from the Kuiper Belt. Shall I activate the minefield? Negative. Let them see what they're really facing first. The reinforcement fleet consisted of another 1,000 alien ships, sent to support what their commanders thought would be an easy victory. Instead, they flew into a trap that had been waiting for them for 50 years. Captain Yuna Lee commanded one of the hidden weapon satellites that had been disguised as space debris. When the alien fleet passed through the outer system, it found itself surrounded by millions of these hidden platforms, all connected by quantum communication networks that allowed them to act as a single massive intelligence. "Welcome to our solar system," she broadcast to the alien fleet. "Please note that you are now within range of approximately 10 million separate weapons platforms, each capable of destroying a ship your size. We suggest you consider surrendering." The scale of human preparation was beyond anything the galaxy had ever imagined. They had not just built weapons to defend their homeworld. They had rebuilt their entire star system as a single, integrated defense network that could coordinate attacks across billions of kilometers of space. Admiral Vorthak, watching the battle from his command ship at the edge of the system, finally understood what humanity really was. They were not a young species stumbling into galactic politics. They were the most dangerous military power the galaxy had ever seen, and they had been hiding their strength for 2 centuries. "Send a message to all our fleets," he ordered with a voice that shook with fear. "Full retreat. Do not engage human forces. Do not approach human space. We have made a terrible mistake, but it was too late for retreat." The human solar system was designed not just to defend, but to trap any force that entered it. The aliens were about to learn what happened when you threatened a species that had turned an entire star into a weapon. The Battle of Sol would be remembered as the day the galaxy learned to fear humanity, but it would also be remembered as the day humanity decided to stop hiding what they could really do. 48 hours had passed since humanity rejected the alien ultimatum. Across the galaxy, alien commanders were preparing for what they thought would be an easy victory. They had studied human military strength for years. They knew every ship, every weapon, every defense platform. The humans were brave but foolish. They were wrong about everything. Fleet Admiral Kyung-ho. Shin sat in his command chair deep beneath the surface of Mars. The room around him looked like a simple research facility, the kind that studied rock samples and weather patterns. But when he entered his command codes, the walls fell away to reveal the real Mars Command Center. "Begin Protocol Prometheus," he said quietly. The order went out on quantum channels that the aliens didn't know existed. Every human colony, every outpost, every ship received the same message. Stop pretending to be weak. On Titan, Engineer Bora Yang had spent 15 years running what everyone thought was a simple gas harvesting operation. Alien spies had watched the facility for decades, noting its small size and peaceful purpose. They had no idea that most of the facility was hidden beneath Titan's surface. "Remove the holographic camouflage," she ordered her team. The small collection of storage tanks and processing units flickered and disappeared. In their place stood the largest shipyard in human space, stretching for kilometers beneath the ice. Hundreds of ships were docked there, ships that had never appeared on any official registry. Captain Minho Ryu had been waiting for this moment for 5 years. His ship, the Indomitable, was listed in alien intelligence files as a small frigate with light weapons. The aliens were half right. It was named Indomitable. Everything else was a lie. The frigate's hull split open like a flower blooming. The real ship emerged from inside, a massive dreadnought 2 kilometers long, bristling with weapons that could crack moons. It had been hiding in plain sight, disguised by holographic projectors and quantum dampening fields. "All crew to battle stations," he announced. "We're not pretending anymore." Dr. Seongwon Kang was having lunch with his alien contact when the revelation began. The reptilian creature thought Kang was a human scientist selling information to the aliens. For 10 years, Kang had fed them carefully prepared lies about human military strength. "My friend," the alien said, "your people have made a terrible mistake. Our fleet will crush them in days." Kang smiled and pulled out his communication device. "Would you like to see something interesting?" The device showed a live feed from Titan. The alien watched in growing horror as the shipyard revealed itself, as hundreds of human warships powered up their engines. "You've been watching our decoys for 20 years, Kang explained calmly. "Every mining station you cataloged, every research post you spied on, every cargo ship you followed, all fake. We learned long ago that the best way to win a war is to make your enemy think they've already won." The alien dropped its eating utensil. "Impossible. Our intelligence networks are perfect. We know everything about human space. You know what we wanted you to know? Did you really think a species that went from wooden ships to starships in 500 years would be satisfied with 47 patrol boats?" Across the galaxy, similar revelations were occurring. The asteroid mining operation in the Vega system dropped its disguise to reveal a fortress with enough firepower to destroy a fleet. The agricultural colony on New Terra unveiled defensive systems that could protect the planet from orbital bombardment. President Subin Choi addressed the human colonies from Earth, but her broadcast reached much further than the aliens expected. Every human world received her message simultaneously, transmitted on quantum channels that shouldn't exist according to galactic science. "Citizens of humanity," she said, "today we reveal who we really are. For 200 years we have been preparing for this moment. Every generation has built on the work of those before. Every setback has taught us to hide our strength better." On the bridge of the defense station, Captain Hyejin Kim watched as her sensors showed the truth about human space. What had appeared to be 47 scattered ships was actually a coordinated fleet of over 400 vessels, all connected by quantum communication networks that allowed instant coordination across light years. "My God," her tactical officer whispered. "We were never as weak as we pretended." "No," Kim agreed. "We were never weak at all. We just learned that being underestimated is the greatest advantage you can have." The alien fleet beyond Pluto was beginning to realize something was wrong. Their long-range sensors were detecting energy signatures that hadn't been there before. Ships were appearing where there had been empty space. Weapons were powering up on facilities they had dismissed as harmless. Supreme Chancellor Vorthak stood on the bridge of his flagship, trying to understand what was happening. "Report, where did these ships come from?" His intelligence officer was frantically checking data files. "Sir, these vessels don't match any known human designs. They're too large, too heavily armed. Our information says humans don't have this technology." "Then our information was wrong," Vorthak snarled. "How many ships are we actually facing?" The numbers kept climbing. First 50, then 100, then 200. The count didn't stop there. 400 ships confirmed, sir, and they're all larger and more heavily armed than our estimates suggested. But the ships were only part of the revelation. The humans had also hidden their true industrial capacity. Shipyards that could build dreadnoughts were disguised as mining operations. Manufacturing centers that could produce advanced weapons looked like agricultural facilities. Research stations that had developed technology beyond anything the aliens possessed had pretended to study cosmic radiation. Dr. Sun-hee Kim was part of the revelation team that specialized in psychological warfare. Her job was to make sure the aliens understood what they were really facing. "Begin transmission to all alien vessels," she ordered. "Show them what we've been building while they thought we were weak." The message that reached the alien fleet contained detailed scans of human military installations. Bases carved into asteroids, weapons platforms hidden in nebulas, ships that could travel faster and hit harder than anything in the alien arsenal. But the most terrifying part of the message was simple. This is what we built while you were watching. Imagine what we built while you weren't. Admiral Kyung-ho Shin reviewed the deployment reports. Every human colony was revealing its true defenses. Every trade route was showing its hidden patrol ships. Every peaceful research station was powering up weapons that could destroy battleships. Sir, his communications officer reported, we're getting responses from all sectors. Total combat readiness achieved. Hidden fleet fully operational. Shin nodded. Send this message to the alien fleet. Humanity thanks you for giving us 72 hours to prepare. We only needed 24. The deception had been perfect. For decades, humans had shown the galaxy exactly what they expected to see. A young species with limited military power, spreading slowly and peacefully through space. The reality was different. Humanity had been preparing for this war since the day they first met another intelligent species. They had learned from history that peace was only possible when you were too strong to attack. But they had also learned that appearing strong made you a target. So they had chosen a third path. Appear weak while being strong and let their enemies choose the time and place of their own defeat. The aliens had chosen poorly. In 24 hours, they would learn what humanity could do when they stopped pretending to be harmless. The first battle began at the Vega colony, 12 light-years from Earth. The alien commanders had chosen it carefully. According to their intelligence, Vega had only 2 patrol boats protecting 50,000 human colonists. It should have been an easy victory to show the galaxy what happened when species defied the hegemony. Commander Jae-sung-oh watched the alien fleet approach from the bridge of the Dreadnought Defiance. The ship was so large that it had its own internal weather systems. Just 5 years ago, it had been disguised as 3 separate mining platforms scattered throughout the asteroid belt. Sir, alien fleet is entering weapons range, reported Tactical Officer Sung-min Park. 48 ships led by a heavy battlecruiser. They're moving in standard attack formation. Jae-sung smiled grimly. Standard formation against a non-standard enemy. Let's see how their tactics work against something they never planned for. The alien fleet commander was Admiral Zethkar of the Saurok Empire, a veteran of 20 colonial conquests. He had reviewed the intelligence on Vega Colony dozens of times. 2 human patrol boats, some defensive satellites, maybe a few ground-based weapons. His fleet could take the system in hours. Begin the attack, he ordered. Target the patrol vessels first, then the orbital stations. But when his sensors swept the system, they found something impossible. Instead of 2 small patrol boats, 8 massive human cruisers were moving to intercept his fleet. Each one was larger than his own flagship. Where did they come from? He demanded. His sensor officer was checking and rechecking his instruments. Sir, they were here all along. Our long-range scans showed them as cargo haulers and mining ships. But those were fake signatures. These are military vessels. Admiral Zethkar felt the first touch of fear. How many more surprises are waiting for us? He was about to find out. Weapons Officer Ha-young Lim was ready for this moment. She had trained for 15 years on weapon systems that officially didn't exist. The human ships carried something the aliens had never seen before. Kinetic orbital cannons that could fire projectiles at 15% the speed of light. Firing solution locked, she reported. All ships report ready. Fire, Commander O ordered. The human ships unleashed their first surprise. Instead of energy weapons that could be blocked by shields, they fired solid tungsten rods accelerated to incredible speeds. The projectiles were small but at relativistic velocity. They hit with the force of nuclear weapons. The alien shields, designed to deflect lasers and plasma bolts, were useless against physical objects moving at such speed. The first salvo destroyed 6 alien ships instantly, punching through their hulls like paper. Impossible, Admiral Zethkar screamed. No species has kinetic weapons that powerful. His weapons officer was already returning fire, but the human ships were not where they appeared to be. Holographic projectors made each vessel look like it was several kilometers away from its real position. Most of the alien shots missed completely. Then Tactical Officer Park activated the swarm protocol. Each human ship released clouds of small fighters, thousands of them pouring out of hidden bays. But these were not ordinary fighters piloted by humans. They were autonomous drones all linked together by quantum communication networks that allowed them to think and move as one massive organism. Deploy the swarm, Park announced. The aliens watched in horror as the drone cloud surrounded their fleet. Each individual fighter was small and lightly armed, but there were so many of them that they blocked out the stars. The galaxy had abandoned drone warfare centuries ago because no organic brain could coordinate that many units at once. But humans had built quantum computers that could. The drone swarm moved like a living thing, flowing around alien ships attacking from all sides at once. The aliens tried to fight back, but every drone they destroyed was immediately replaced by two more from the human ships. Admiral Zethkar's flagship shuddered under constant impact from hundreds of small weapons. His shields were failing, his hull was cracking, and his crew was in panic. "Retreat," he ordered. "All ships retreat to safe distance." But the human forces had one more surprise. As the aliens tried to flee, the space around them began to change. Hidden weapons platforms, disguised as asteroids and debris, activated gravity manipulators that trapped the alien fleet in artificial gravity wells. Commander O opened a communication channel to the alien fleet. "Admiral Zethkar, this is Commander O of the Human Defense Force. You came here to demonstrate your power. Consider this our demonstration of ours." The battle lasted 6 hours. When it ended, 31 alien ships had been destroyed and 12 more were so damaged they could barely move. The human forces had lost one ship, damaged when its pilot made a heroic ramming attack to save a disabled drone carrier. But the cost to the aliens was more than just ships. It was the cost of certainty. Everything they thought they knew about human military power was wrong. Dr. Kethvar, the alien fleet's xenobiologist, studied the battle recordings with growing dread. The humans had not fought like any species in the galaxy. They had used weapons that shouldn't exist, tactics that shouldn't work, and technology that shouldn't be possible. "Admiral," he reported to Zethkar, "we need to reconsider our intelligence about human capabilities." "What do you mean?" "The weapons they used, the coordination of their drones, the way their ships moved. This is not the technology of a primitive species. They're at least 50 years ahead of us in several key areas." Admiral Zethkar was bandaging wounds from when his bridge exploded, but our spies have been watching them for decades. "How could we miss this?" Dr. Kethvar pulled up the tactical analysis. "Because they wanted us to miss it. Every piece of technology they demonstrated today was hidden or disguised as something else. They've been lying to the entire galaxy about their true capabilities." The report Dr. Kethvar sent back to the hegemony leadership was terrifying in its implications. The humans had not just hidden their military strength. They had hidden their entire technological civilization behind a facade of peaceful exploration and simple mining operations. Worse, he concluded, the battle analysis suggests they were still holding back. The energy readings from their ships indicate power systems far beyond what they actually used. We may have seen only a fraction of their true capabilities. Supreme Chancellor Vorthak received the report while his fleet was still gathered beyond Pluto, preparing for what he had expected to be a quick victory tour of human space. Instead, he was reading about the destruction of one of his best battle groups by a species he had dismissed as primitive. "Summon the War Council," he ordered. "We need to reconsider our approach." But across human space, similar battles were already beginning. Every alien fleet that attacked a human colony found the same thing. The intelligence was wrong, the defenses were stronger than expected, and humanity had been preparing for this war much longer than anyone realized. The galaxy was about to learn what happened when you threatened a species that had spent 2 centuries preparing for exactly this moment. The aliens had started a war they expected to win in days. Instead, they had awakened something that would change the balance of power forever. The humans were no longer pretending to be weak. Now the galaxy would see what they could really do. 3 weeks after the Battle of Vega, the alien coalition was learning that fighting humans was nothing like fighting other species. Most galactic wars followed predictable patterns. Fleets met in space, the stronger side won, and the weaker side surrendered. Humans did not follow these rules. Admiral Sang-Ho Kim commanded the human counteroffensive from a ship that didn't officially exist. The stealth vessel Shadow Walker had been built in secret shipyards and powered by engines that barely registered on sensors. From this invisible command post, he directed a war that was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. "Status report," he requested. Captain Eugene Park appeared on the communication screen from her Raider squadron. "Strike Group 7 has completed the Centauri operation. The alien supply depot is destroyed. No enemy survivors, no witnesses. Excellent. And the convoy? Never reached its destination. As far as the aliens know, it simply vanished somewhere between stars. This was humanity's new strategy. Instead of meeting alien fleets in grand battles, they struck at the foundation of alien power. Supply ships disappeared without sending distress signals. Communication relays stopped working. Repair facilities exploded from within. The aliens were discovering that every piece of technology they had bought from human traders over the past 50 years contained hidden programs. Engineering Chief Daehyun Lee sat in a bunker on Luna, activating sleeper protocols that had been waiting decades for this moment. Initiating Protocol Trojan, he announced to his team. Across alien space, civilian infrastructure began to fail. Power plants that relied on human-made components shut down mysteriously. Planetary defense systems that used human software started targeting their own ships. Communication networks that included human-built relays began broadcasting human propaganda instead of alien orders. How is this possible? Demanded Admiral Zethkar, who had survived the Vega disaster only to watch his home system's defenses turn against his own fleet. His technical officer was frantically trying to shut down compromised systems. Sir, the humans didn't just sell us technology. They sold us backdoors. Every component, every program, every system they've touched has hidden access codes. Meanwhile, Dr. Sun-Hee Kim was running humanity's psychological warfare division from a facility that looked like a university research center. Her job was to break alien morale before their fleets ever reached human space. Begin transmission sequence 7, she ordered. Across alien communication networks, messages began appearing. Videos of alien ships being destroyed by human weapons. Records of alien casualties. Most terrifying of all, footage of human ships appearing in supposedly secure alien systems, taking sensor readings of planetary defenses, and then vanishing before anyone could respond. The message was clear. Nowhere was safe from human reach. General Hoseok Choi was proving this point on the ground. His special forces had landed on Sarok Prime's outer colonies, places that should have been completely secure from human attack. But humanity had developed new ways to travel between stars, ways that didn't require the jump gates that everyone thought were necessary. Target secured, he reported from the alien colonial capital. Defense grid is down, government center is under our control, civilian population is unharmed. The aliens had expected human ground forces to be weak. Most species fought wars with energy weapons and heavy armor. Humans fought with adaptability and intelligence. They studied alien technology during battle, learned how it worked, and then used it better than its creators. Captain So-Young Kim was demonstrating this principle in the Rigel system, where her engineering team had captured an alien battleship and figured out how to improve its weapons in less than 6 hours. Sir, her chief engineer reported, we've modified their plasma cannons. By adjusting the magnetic containment fields and increasing the power feed, we can boost their damage output by 40%. And the aliens never thought of this? They built their weapons to standard specifications and never questioned if those specifications were optimal. Humans always question everything. The captured alien ship, now flying under human control, was more dangerous than it had ever been under alien command. This became a pattern throughout the war. Human forces didn't just defeat alien technology. They captured it, improved it, and turned it against its former owners. But the most devastating human advantage was something the aliens couldn't understand: the ability to adapt in the middle of battle. Lieutenant Commander Min Seo Park demonstrated this during the Battle of Wolf 359, when her squadron encountered alien ships, using a new type of shielding. Shields are deflecting. Our kinetic rounds, her weapons officer reported. Then we don't use kinetic rounds, she replied calmly. Switch to quantum torpedoes. If their shields block matter, let's see how they handle pure energy. The quantum torpedoes, weapons that existed only in human theoretical physics until that moment, punched through the alien shields like they weren't there. The human ships had modified their weapon systems during the battle, something no other species had ever attempted. Admiral Vorthak was receiving reports that made no sense. Human fleets were appearing in multiple systems simultaneously, despite the fact that faster-than-light travel should make this impossible. Human weapons were changing from battle to battle, as if they were being invented in real time. Human intelligence operations were crippling alien infrastructure faster than it could be repaired. How many ships do they actually have? He demanded of his intelligence chief. We don't know anymore, sir. Every time we count them, the number changes. They're building new vessels faster than we can track them, and they're using manufacturing techniques that shouldn't be possible. The truth was that humanity had revolutionized space construction. Instead of building ships in traditional shipyards, they had developed self-replicating manufacturing systems that could turn asteroids into battleships in weeks instead of years. Every battle gave them new alien technology to study and incorporate into their designs. Dr. Changmin Park was overseeing one such facility in the outer system. Production rate is exceeding projections, he reported to Admiral Kim. We're completing 2 heavy cruisers per week, and each one incorporates improvements based on the latest battle data. And the aliens? They're still building ships the same way they did 1,000 years ago. Slow, expensive, and predictable. The war was becoming a nightmare for the alien coalition. They had expected to fight a primitive species with limited resources. Instead, they were facing an enemy that grew stronger with every battle, learned from every encounter, and seemed to have infinite capacity for innovation. Captain Junho Lee, commanding a deep space reconnaissance mission, summed up the strategic situation in his report. The aliens fight like they're following a textbook. Same formation, same tactics, same weapons they've used for centuries. They're fighting the last war, not this war. And we're fighting the next war, Admiral Kim replied. The war they don't even know is possible yet. The psychological impact on alien forces was becoming severe. Crews were deserting. Commanders were requesting transfers away from human space. And several minor species were beginning to question whether they wanted to be part of the coalition anymore. Supreme Chancellor Vorthak called an emergency meeting of his War Council. We need to end this quickly, he announced. The longer this war continues, the stronger the humans become. Sir, his military advisor said carefully, perhaps we should reconsider the terms of our ultimatum. The humans have proven to be more capable than we anticipated. Vorthak's eyes blazed with anger. We do not negotiate with primitives. We will gather our entire fleet and strike at Earth itself. When their homeworld falls, their colonies will surrender. It was exactly the kind of thinking that had gotten the aliens into this situation in the first place. They still believed they were fighting a conventional enemy that could be defeated with conventional tactics. They had no idea that humanity's greatest surprises were yet to come. The attack on Earth would teach them the difference between human capability and human restraint. Everything they had seen so far was just humanity getting warmed up.